There is a difference between your chronological age and your biological age. And your biological age is determined how well your cells are functioning on a day-to-day basis. A lot of it's metabolism, metabolic health. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast. Today we are talking about aging, longevity, the truth about aging, what actually makes you live longer, but we're going to start with what actually causes you to age faster. If we know what ages us faster, then we can remove those from our lifestyle, and then we're going to add value to our life by increasing longevity with certain lifestyle changes. Today, it's going to be lifestyle-based conversation. You're going to hopefully walk away with the top 10 things I would do daily to live longer. That's what we're going to finalize with our podcast today. So stay tuned. It's going to be information-packed, jam-packed for obviously you, but hopefully you can share the information with people around you. And let's have a conversation that isn't ad-based or clickbait, that's not selling you a supplement. Let's talk about truly what moves the needle in longevity. The science of aging well. And we always say we want you to age well and suffer strong. It's one of the terms I use a lot. We want to age well and suffer strong. So what does that mean? It means we want to do the best we can with aging well and improving longevity, and we want to suffer strong. We want to be resilient humans that can go through pain and changes and obstacles and be resilient. So let's talk through what actually slows aging. So we're going to go through a few causes of aging, not what obviously social media may say, but there is a difference between your chronological age and your biological age. And your biological age is determined how well your cells are functioning on a day-to-day basis. A lot of it's metabolism, metabolic health. And so let's get into the part one, what actually causes aging, because aging isn't wrinkles. That's not aging, right? We're not just aging. It's actually the gradual loss of your cell's ability to heal itself, your body's ability to heal and regulate. As we slow down our ability to heal, we increase our aging. I always think aging is like making a copy of a copy. And if you make a copy of a copy, the second copy isn't as clean as the first copy. Or if we just now pull that out in a bigger term, if the 100th copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, we look at that 100th copy of a picture, it's not even nearly as bright, as clean in lines as the first copy. Your body every day is making copies of copies. And if we can slow down the copying process, then we can age well. Without getting too technical, there are hallmarks of aging. And when we look at it, it's chronic inflammation. Your mitochondria, which we've talked about, is dysfunctional. Your DNA is being damaged. There's something called oxidative stress, insulin resistance or metabolic disease, loss of muscle, 1% loss of muscle every year over the age of 40, immune dysfunction and chronic inflammation, autoimmunity, and a term you may have not heard, which is called cellular senescence. And I know a lot of that feels very technical and medical jargon, so I want to keep it simple and extrapolate this out a little bit. The number one biggest accelerator of aging is chronic inflammation, and it may be the biggest one. Inflammation is amazing. For a few days, it can help injuries heal, tissue recover. It's necessary if you have a virus, but it's terrible when it goes on for 20 years. And we see markers of that. CRP is a marker, homocysteine is a marker, poor diet is a marker we can look at, chronic insulin resistance, poor sleep, obesity, gut infections and inflammation, autoimmunity. They all keep your immune system stuck in this attack mode, and it slowly damages your tissue, increases that cellular turnover daily. Reducing inflammation is critical. We'll talk about that in our steps at the end. Number two, a big issue if you have it, it's going to increase your aging, is insulin resistance, or the body's ability to hear insulin and utilize glucose efficiently. Imagine just pouring like syrup over your muscles, right? That's like, or in your brain. When we can't utilize glucose properly, it's just circulating. It's like scrap metal in the body, just creating so much damage. High insulin, which is a marker you can look at, increases directly heart disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, and accelerates damage to your blood vessels. So we want to be mindful of not just our inflammation levels, but our insulin resistance. Number 3 is loss of muscle. Muscle isn't something that's just for aesthetics. It's not just cosmetic. Muscle is a longevity organ and one of the most important ones. The pretty much more muscle you have, the longer you live. Number 4, sedentary lifestyle. If you're not moving, you are aging more rapidly. We need to make sure that we are increasing blood flow and oxygen to tissue. And so sedentary lifestyle is a major risk factor for aging. Poor sleep. This may be you. You may not be sleeping 7 to 8 hours of deep, restorative, restful, quality sleep a night. You may be in bed that long, but not sleeping that long. It is essential that we get into restorative sleep patterns that allow us to flush toxins out of our brain and inflammation out of our body and improve insulin sensitivity. Chronic stress is number 6. It's an absolute risk factor for aging. Any type of smoking, excessive alcohol, those will directly impact aging. And then even number 8, relationships. Like loneliness has been shown to increase aging. Or I would even go to say like not having purpose, having something to wake up for, not serving serving humanity, not having a purpose-driven life will increase your aging. Loneliness increases aging. That is well established that populations, blue zones that live longer have some of the healthiest relational communities and faith-based communities out there. So that's what increases aging. What actually slows aging? And this is where we'll get into the technical, where at the end we'll get into the top 10 things to do daily. Number 1, lift heavy things. You got to do some resistance training. Lifting heavy things is the closest thing to anti-aging medication that's on the market. When we look at lifting heavy things, it directly improves your metabolic system, so insulin sensitivity, bone density, brain health, hormones. What does that mean? What does heavy things mean? Well, it means it was heavier than it was last week. Now, I don't care how heavy is relative to a person. If you did a 3-pound resistance band last week, you're doing 5 pounds this week. Yeah, the reps may drop a little bit, but as the reps increase back up and we get progressive overload, then we increase the resistance again. If you have been training the same way for the last 10 years and you haven't changed at all, you're not getting better. You're just not. So increase your steps, increase your weight. What if I get injured? Well, I would rather you have a tweak, an injury, than have heart disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. So I would much rather work through a joint injury or a muscle strain than directly impacting my aging. So lift heavy things 3 to 4 times a week. We've got to be doing it. If you're not doing it, you start with that. Turn the podcast off, come back to it in a month, and you can look at the other items. Number 2, when we look at what actually slows aging, walking every day. Aim for 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Walking is simple. It's incredible. Walking lowers blood sugar. It directly decreases stress hormones, inflammation, helps your body heal and recover. It is simple. You got to be walking. You got to get your step count up. Number 3, eat enough protein. As we age, again, we lose 1% of muscle mass every year over the age of 40. Protein becomes even more important, and most adults undereat protein. You got to aim for about a 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight if you're active. So that's a lot of protein. 200-pound male is 150 to 200 grams of protein a day. That's a lot of protein. But if we prioritize eggs and fish and beef and chicken, you can meet those metrics. Okay. Number 4 is sleep like it's medicine. Sleep is essential at decreasing the aging process. Sleep, protect it. Dark room, cold environment, consistent routine, go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time, limit anything that hinders deep sleep like blue lights and alcohol and eating too late. It's where longevity happens. Number 5, build your mitochondria. All right, this is something that we've talked about before, but how healthy is your mitochondria is how healthy your cells are. One of the best ways to do that is sauna. Sauna is fantastic. Cold exposure, protein, inflammation levels that are down, creatine we talked about as a great supplement to improve mitochondrial function. But if we can, which are the power plant of the cell, the mitochondria, if we can improve mitochondrial function, we improve our energy systems. And the better our energy systems, the lower risk for cancer and all forms of chronic disease. Next one, what do we do to decrease aging? We control our blood sugar, protein, fat, fiber, eliminate the big carbs, eliminate snacking. When we eat consistent meals over time, consistent 3 meals a day, it really stabilizes our blood sugar, especially if we have lots of fibrous foods, fruits and vegetables, combined with healthy fats, quality protein. We can control our blood sugar, and blood sugar control is essential at preventing neurodegenerative conditions, heart disease, and virtually every chronic disease that exists. We talked about what unhealthy relationships can do to increase aging. Healthy relationships will directly impact your aging. So live a life of grace. We all make mistakes. We're all humans that are, living this human experiment where we mess up every hour, every day. Give grace to yourself. Give grace to others. Develop a deep relationship with the Lord. Grow in Him. Love others. Serve others. You'll be healthier for it. Novelty. Continue learning. The brain thrives off of learning. And if you're not learning something new, if you're not in a season of learning something new, learn something new. This is your go-to, whether it's music, right? Whether it's an instrument, whether it's reading, whether it's learning a different language. Learning and novelty is at like the cornerstone of healthy aging. And if you look at all these things I just talked about, this is lifestyle. Yeah, I mentioned creatine, but this is the lifestyle. This isn't, hey, take these 5 supplements. This is practical things that you can do every day. If you're not strength training. If you're not walking, you walk. If you're not eating 3 meals a day with protein, eat 3 meals a day with protein. Develop the rhythm and discipline of one habit, and then develop the rhythm and discipline of a second, and then a third. Give yourself grace and know that in 20 years, you're going to be different than you were today. Here's my final takeaway. If someone asks me, hey, Dr. Barrett, what's the fastest way to slow aging? Here's the 10 things. Ready? Number 1, lift weights. Number 2, walk every day. Number 3, we want to sleep 7 to 9 restorative hours every night. Number 4, we want to eat enough protein, 0.8 to 1 gram of pound per ideal gram per ideal pound of body weight. Number 5, metabolically healthy. Stay lean, but not underfed. Number 6, control your blood sugar. Number 7, reduce chronic inflammation from food and drinks. Number 8, manage your stress well. Number 9, develop and maintain healthy relationships. Number 10, keep learning. Novelty. Keep learning, keep moving. And you know what? It's not on the list is a miracle supplement or a product to buy. That's lifestyle advice. That's simple. Anyone can do it. Let's establish the fundamentals. Fundamentals win. And you'll never get healthy through supplementation if you're not establishing a healthy foundation. So be intentional with your food, with your movement, with your relationships, and you'll be rewarded for it. It's harder, but it's more fruitful. So I hope this was valuable for you. Know that aging is in your control. Aging is something you can be intentional about. Your cellular health can be 10 to 20 years lower than your biological age, your chronological age. Let's start moving the needle in our aging by managing our lifestyle. So I pray today was a blessing for you and that you learned something new. Thanks, as always, for listening to another episode of the Real Health Co podcast.